Hello and welcome to another in our series of lockdown interviews, which is a series of short videos in which Rebecca interviews some of our KLS members about their life as a member and also about their experiences in lockdown. Except this one is different. We weren't going to let Rebecca off the hook, so we are turning the tables, or the virtual tables, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Rebecca. So, hi, Rebecca.
Hello, thank you.
How are you? You must be exhausted after what? Loads and loads of interviews in these last few weeks.
Yeah, it's been full on, but it's been great. I've really enjoyed it, so can't complain.
Well, having watched every one of those interviews, it's great finally to be able to interview you. So, a
Oh,
huge thank you for doing all these and for swapping sides today. Uh, by now, you know all the questions like the back of your hand.
yeah.
But for the benefit of our viewers, the first question is for you to tell us a little bit about yourself and about your background as a KLS member.
Okay. Well, so I have been a member of KLS for nearly exactly 2 years. It will be 2 years next month. And KLS is the first Jewish community that I've been a member of. I grew up, I wasn't brought up Jewish. My dad is Jewish. My mum isn't Jewish. And so we weren't brought up in any particular sort of faith or religion. I always kind of was very interested in my Jewish background and always identified as being Jewish. And that just grew stronger the older I got. But it did take until my late 40s when I actually decided I would maybe look into joining a Jewish community. I don't know why I left it so long, but just, life got in the way. And then I got to my late 40s and I thought, okay, I'm actually going to look into this. I realized that KLS was quite local to me. Um, Dropped them an email, met Renee, never really looked back from that moment. So I've been a member for a couple of years now, and it's been great. I really, I feel like I've been making up for lost time in terms of my membership of a Jewish community. Other than that, I teach piano at home. Run a private piano studio, which I've been doing for about the last 7.5 years. Before that, I had a finance career in the corporate world, which was very different. But I left it behind to do something much more civilized.
Well, that's a long journey, but it's never too late. I think yours
Exactly.
demonstrates that. And you've certainly, yeah, uh, hit the scene big time. I remember when you joined, and gosh, it seems a long time now, but
Yeah. Well, a lot's
yeah,
happened in the last couple of years.
indeed. So let's move on to the last few months of lockdown. What's that been like for you? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been very fortunate, like everybody. I have, like I say, my career is teaching piano, and pretty much all of my students were happy to transfer the lessons online. Um, so I was very lucky to be able to continue working throughout that time, and which meant obviously not only did I had a structure to my day, so I still followed a kind of timetable. I was still seeing virtually, obviously seeing lots of people during the day. And that was really important. So I was really pleased to be able to carry on doing that. I've started now to see students face to face again, which is wonderful, because doing sort of 6 or 7 Zoom lessons back to back is quite tiring. Definitely
Mm.
better than nothing. I was very pleased to do it, but very glad when they started coming back face to face. So that's been keeping me busy. Obviously, KLS has been keeping me busy, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that more as well. I too have a garden. There's definite theme about gardens coming through. Again, I feel incredibly lucky that I've got a nice house, a nice garden. I live with 2 great cats. They're my team lockdown, as you know, and oh, so it's been okay. It's been okay. I mean, I had my birthday. My birthday was at the end of April, so it was really kind of at the peak of lockdown. So although I didn't physically see another human being during that time, I really did feel connected because I was constantly getting messages and calls and, had a Zoom chat with my friends at the end of the day. So I didn't feel that I'd spent my birthday alone, even though technically I had spent my
Mm.
birthday alone. So overall, I just feel that I've been in a very lucky situation, like a lot of KLS members, and a lot of people haven't been anywhere near as lucky, and I'm very conscious of that.
Sure, yeah. And I follow you on Twitter, so I enjoy seeing your garden photos that you take from the same position is it every month and
Every
over the
month I take
years,
photos
so
of
you
my
can see
garden
how
from
it's
my Twitter page.
progressed
Yeah.
from over the year and over the years. So that's
Yeah, it's a little project I've been
you
doing for
take
the
a lot
last
of
few
pleasure
weeks.
from your garden, don't you?
Definitely, definitely.
That's great. Yeah. So we move on to your involvement with KLS during lockdown. Bearing in mind we have limited time in this video, what have you been doing apart from interviewing, of course?
Okay, so what have I been doing? All right, so um, I've been very involved with the live streaming, as you know. I think the first live stream was just before lockdown when I turned up with at a service that you were about to take because Renee was away, had my iPad, and I think about 10 minutes before the service, I thought we might as well just try live streaming the service onto Facebook. I mean, it was just complete spur of the moment thing. So we propped up the iPad on the lectern in the middle of the shawl. There were still a few people coming to, because it was before lockdown, so there's still a few people coming in. But I think everybody knew that we were going to go into full lockdown. And I streamed it just to my private Facebook page, and it kind of worked, you know. I mean, so I've
We were
been.
amazed, weren't we? I remember that. It just worked.
It worked a lot better than I think. Like I said, because it wasn't planned, it was just total spur of the moment.
Mm.
Let's see what happens. And because I have friends on Facebook who are members of the community anyway, quite a few people who had already started shielding happened to see it on my Facebook page and were sort of saying, "Oh wow, this is amazing! It's so great to see you." So obviously, at that point, we realised that this is definitely something we could do. And so I've been involved in certainly most of the Shabbat morning, some of the Shabbat evening services in one way or the other, either playing the piano or again, like yourself, behind the scenes doing the tech stuff. So that's been important. I've been obviously, as you know, I run the social media and the press and publicity. So I've been kind of carrying on making sure that that's going, trying to get our Twitter followers up and our Facebook followers up.
We've
And
just passed 900 Twitter
we are
followers, I
about
believe.
905 at the point of recording. It goes up and down, but you know, overall the trajectory is up. So yeah, very happy about that.
People
Um,
obviously like what you're tweeting from the KLS account.
Things that make us smile, giggle, or think is my
Hmm.
mantra. Yeah, so yeah, social media, piano, and tech is probably the main things. Don't know if I've
Mm.
forgotten anything.
No, well, I mean, I know members have really enjoyed the live stream services. Love Renee and Rebecca double acts. Got a great rapport between you. Comes across really well. It lifts our spirits. No, it really does. Now,
Yeah.
of course, you composed the musical setting, which you now use for Judy Chicago's Merger poem, and then, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I did. That was just something that just came to me. It's not something that I do very often, if at all. Certainly don't consider myself a composer in any way, but I just thought it would be nice because I know it's a poem that Rene really loves, and obviously we often read it. And I just thought it would be nice to see if I could set it to music. And I think it's just something that actually came once I'd got the kind of main idea, it kind of came quite easily after that. And yeah, it was actually very special when Rene sang it for the first time. I was really, really touched when he sang it for the first
Mm.
time. And then Vince sang it last Friday night with the guitar, and that was really special as well. And I can't wait to hear the whole congregation sing that. I think there might be a few tears. I'm not really a crier, but there might be a few tears when that happens. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be worth waiting for.
Yeah.
And of course, the theme music to this series.
Oh yes, yeah, a little bit of a klezmer pastiche that I have to say, but yes, absolutely. The theme music to this series, I composed that as well.
Yeah. So, Rebecca, what would you say this involvement has meant to you during this time?
Huge amount, to be honest. As I said earlier, this is the first time I've been a member of a Jewish community or any community really, outside obviously kind of work and social life and family. You know, I've never been a member of a community in that way before, and didn't really know what to expect when I joined. And now I know, and it's not only about what I can contribute, but also about what I get back, and just that it is. I mean, it sounds a bit naff, but it's just like a really big family. And I know that, people look out for each other, and people would look out for me, and we're looking out for them. And especially, obviously, the last few months, which has been just such a strange time. I've never felt, although I have technically been alone because I live on my own, except for my cats. So I have technically been on my own. And obviously, during the peak of lockdown, for weeks and months at a time, didn't see another human. I've never felt lonely. And part of the reason is because I've always been chatting to somebody from KLS, because we've got something to sort out, or something to organise, or something to chat about, or just, whatever it is. There's always been the next service or the next project that we've had to, plan for. So I've never been lonely during this time. And a lot of that is down to the fact that I feel part of this community. And that's really
Part of
special.
the family.
Yeah, really. And it's really, really special.
It is. It's yeah. I completely identify with that. That's a very good way of putting it. Yeah. Would you say your relationship with your Judaism has changed at all?
um, I think it's probably strengthened, but and possibly that strengthening has possibly accelerated. I mean, obviously, because I've only joined the community a couple of years ago, I've been learning a lot about Judaism. I knew a fair amount anyway, but a lot of it was just through my own reading and my own kind of research. And obviously, I've been learning a lot more actively. And I think that was happening anyway, but maybe to some extent that's kind of accelerated. Because I've just been more involved. I've had, a little bit, I've been sort of doing maybe a little bit more reading than I otherwise would have done. And obviously just seeing how the community operates, particularly being involved with the services, has given
Mm.
me almost like the inside track on it all, because that side of things is still fairly new to me, because I've only been a member of the community for a couple of years. So I'm still learning about the liturgy and about the songs and all of that kind of stuff. So being involved in that has obviously kind of accelerated my involvement, and it just feels just like I totally belong in the community and in the Jewish people. And why didn't I do this a lot sooner, frankly? But I'm making up for lost time, as you know.
You're certainly doing that, yes. But we're all learning.
Yeah,
We continue to learn. It's an ever
absolutely.
lasting process. But it's great. So it's wonderful that you are with us and doing that with us. So finally, uh, what have you learnt during this time?
Well, like you, a lot of technical skills. But more importantly, I think I've learned that, in fact, that, well, I'm actually going to echo something that Beth said when I interviewed Beth, and Beth talked about learning that she had a lot more resilience than she thought, maybe. And that spoke to me as well, because you never know how you're going to cope in these situations until you have to, you know. And it really was something that I don't suppose many people saw coming, or really kind of planned for in any way. Um, but I've learned that I was okay, and I was able to cope. And like I say, a large part of that is thanks to the support and the strength of the community, but just generally being able to just kind of carry on. And as I said earlier, I'm very lucky to be able to have done that, and I'm in a very lucky situation. So that's been good. And again, back to the importance of the community. Um, Having only been a member for a couple of years, it's really shown how important it is and how much difference it can make to your life, someone's life. I don't know if my experience over the last few months would have been anywhere near as positive if I hadn't been a member of the community now, of KLS now. I mean, still things would have been okay. I was still working, and that would have carried on. And obviously I've got good friends and family, and that would have carried on. But I think this has made a really significant difference to, that feeling of kind of support throughout what's been quite a strange time.
So the KLS community has been a tremendous help, not only to you as a person, but in your path your path of your Jewish journey, effectively.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well,
Definitely,
that's
because it's
that's
all
wonderful.
it's practical, and I'm living it. Like I say, before I was kind of like reading about it, and it was a little bit more kind of, what's the word, hypothetical. Yeah,
Theoretical.
before, yeah, when I was reading about it. But now it's real, and it's kind of, I'm living it, I guess. So yeah, 100%
Living it.
living
That's
it.
wonderful to hear. And what a perfect place to wrap up.
Yeah, I think so. Thank
Re-
you.
yeah, Rebecca, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a real pleasure. And a big thank you for all the interviews where you've been on the other side of this virtual table, as well as everything else that you've been doing, you continue to do for KLS.
Well, thank you, and thanks to everyone who's agreed to be interviewed as part of this series. I've loved doing it. It's been really great.
Great. So to all our viewers, thank you for watching. That's
Thank
it for this
you.
series, but you never know. Rebecca might be back for more later on.
I'll have another
And,
idea for another topic.
right. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.